and welcome to my channel. My name's Shell and I'm losing weight using the Slimming World plan. I do the plan all as normal, except that I do have 2 healthy extra B's and a healthy extra A, which is a little change that I made for myself that seems to work best for me. So just to clarify, because if you hear me saying what I've eaten and I seem to be having 2 B choices, that's why. Thank you very much for my lovely birthday wishes. It was so nice of everyone to comment and wish me happy birthday, and I did have a lovely day. I'm so sorry that this is going to be a combined 2-week video. I did do a video last week and I wasn't happy with it, so I redid it and it didn't work out. And then it was going to be 3 days before I could get help to do another video, by which time it was Monday and weigh-in was on Tuesday, so I thought I might as well just forget it and do the 2 all in one. I was thinking a lot the last couple of weeks about planning. When I was in group a couple of weeks ago, I had lost weight, and when it was the image therapy and it was my turn, my consultant Caroline asked me if I kept a food diary, which I don't. I think I did for the first week, and then since then I haven't done. And then she was asking me if I plan, and to be honest, I don't plan from day to day because I seem to have slipped into a routine, and I don't eat between meals. I think if I was to eat between meals, I perhaps would have to write things down because it would be easy to forget. I have the same thing every morning for breakfast, which is porridge and fruit, so it's just a healthy extra and free food. And then for dinner every day, whatever I've had the night before, I make extra. So for dinner, I either have rice, pasta, potatoes, groats, or whatever I've cooked the night before, millet. I've got a portion left, so I start with that, and then I add to it some kind of protein, which for me is either beans, chickpeas, tofu, corn chunks, whatever. I add that to it, and then I have a speed food element, which is either salad, I really like salad, or I have to make a speedy food soup. Might be just mixed vegetables or cabbage soup, or I like cauliflower soup. So sometimes I make that enough to do about 4 days, so I'll just heap that on top. And the other thing I do, if I haven't got those things, is I use cauliflower rice. So that's every day, which turns out to be free food. I don't have any sins with my dinner. So the only planning I've got then is tea time and snacks before bed, which are easy to remember, and they differ enormously. Sometimes I might have, I can spend 10 sins on just on the sauce for the tea if I want a really rich curry sauce, or I might have a free tea and spend a lot on snacks later on. I might fancy a glass of Jack Daniels and some chocolate or whatever. So they're the only 2 things I have to think about when it comes to sins, and I use the healthy extras every day. Usually I like the Rocky Road Hi-Fi bars, and I also have a hot chocolate. I have 2 hot chocolates a day, one in the afternoon and one in the evening, and they take up 1 healthy extra and 1 sin for both of them. So it's kind of fairly regimented. I don't need to plan day to day, and that's one of the reasons that I love Slimming World, because I don't have to think about it. I don't really have to start thinking about anything to do with counting until tea time, and it's so easy to do that I can just keep it in my head and it's no problem. Now when it came to Easter, I meticulously planned. I had the Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday all planned out. I knew what I was going to eat, I knew how the sins were going to work, I knew how many sins were in the egg I was getting, I knew how many sins were in the bunnies, the hot cross buns, everything. I had the whole thing worked out at least a fortnight in advance. So for that day, or for those days, I really planned. And the same thing came for my birthday, because I wanted to stay on plan. So I really worked out beforehand exactly what I was going to have. It's gone back a week, it's gone back a little while now, nearly a fortnight. But I did have the normal breakfast, and then for dinner we had bacon buns for a change. And I think the bun I had to have had an extra sin for the weight, and also then there was the ketchup and the bacon, which weren't very many sins, but it all added up. And then for tea we had Slimming World chips, sausages and beans, which I thought was quite a luxurious tea for no sins. And then in the evening I had we shared half a bottle of Prosecco, which worked out at, I think it was it 7.5 sins for a quarter of a bottle of Prosecco. And also I got chocolates. I got so much chocolate for my birthday. I got 2 boxes of my favourite chocolates, which are these, I think they're called Cacao Milk Chocolate Selection. They're vegan and I think they're made from oat milk. Oh, they're gorgeous. There's 15 chocolates in the box, so we've already eaten 1 box. And this is the second box, which is unopened yet because I've gone back to working on my Easter egg, which I'm still working through. So I got 2 boxes of these Cacao milk chocolates, and I got another box of chocolate creams. I also got another great big huge box that had 4 large bars of flavoured chocolate in, which have gone into storage. So I did end up giving a box away because I thought this is just going to take too long to eat all this. It's going to be winter before I've got through it all. So I did have one of these as well. These cacao ones, they're tiny, they're luxurious, and they're 3.5 sins each on average for each chocolate. But they are lovely, really nice. So I had one of those, and anyway, the whole day came out at 15 sins. But that doesn't sound like somebody who's on a weight loss programme, does it? Bacon butties with ketchup on, chips and sausage and Prosecco and chocolate, and oh, it really doesn't. So I felt like I'd had a wonderful day, and I went into group on the Tuesday after that. My birthday was on the Friday, and I lost 1.5 pounds that week, so I was very pleased with that. I stayed on my streak all the way through. I don't know how many days that's up to now, but I'm up to week 7, I think, now. Then I started getting into a bit of a tiz about last Saturday. I was going to Llandudno to meet friends that I'd never met before, although I'd known online for about 10 years. And I didn't know where we were going to eat. Now, they were on holiday there, so they didn't know the area. And they texted to say, we found the perfect place to eat. So I asked where it was, thinking I can look the menu up and decide, oh, we don't know what the name of it is, we just saw it when we were out. So I was in a bit of a panic now, thinking, well, I wonder what sort of place it is. I wonder if it's a pizza place where there's nothing else to get but pizzas, or I didn't know. And I got so flustered about not being able to plan that it was really starting to affect the way I was feeling about the weekend. And I was trying to calm down, and I was trying to say, well, it doesn't matter, even if there's no Slimming World friendly food there, it doesn't matter if you're off plan for 1 meal. But I was still getting in a state. So we went on the Saturday, and it was gorgeous. It was such a beautiful day. And we met our friends at 1:30, and Andy started getting hungry straight away. And I don't know if you have friends that don't have any kind of eating problem, but they seem to, as soon as they get hungry, they need to eat. And if Andy doesn't eat straight away, he starts getting really cross. So he was, I've got to eat now. And as soon as we got onto the pier, there was fish and chip place there, so we went over to get chips. I wasn't going to get chips. I thought, I'll see if they do mushy peas, and I'll just have a tub of mushy peas. But the queue, it was absolutely heaving, and they had a really complex queuing system, and my partner Andy can't see very well either. And the whole thing seemed to be set up where you had to catch the eye of the guy behind the counter, and then they were giving out numbers, and you had to see your number come up on a screen to get your meal. And in the end, we decided that we couldn't manage it, so we left that. And our friend said, oh, it's okay, there's a cafe down at the end of the pier. So we walked all the way down to the end of the pier. Andy had brought snacks with him because I know what he's like. The minute he gets hungry, he has to eat. So I brought snacks for him. I had brought 2 hi-fi bars for myself, but I thought, well, I won't eat them now because we're going to the cafe. So I went to the cafe at the end of the pier, and they didn't do food. So I ended up having a Diet Coke there, and we sat in the sun, and we had a really nice talk for an hour. And then they said, well, it's okay because we'll go to this lovely place that we found on the way back. So we walked off the pier, down the front, went to the place where they had the lovely meal, got drinks, sat down. By this time it was 4 o'clock, and our train was at 5. So we said to the lady, and we'll have menus, please. And she said, okay, I'll bring the menus, but we don't start serving food till 5:30. so we ended up, I had a coffee there, a black coffee, and we got on the train. So all my about 2 or 3 days of worrying about what food I was going to choose, we ended up with no food. So we came home, and I'd made, in preparation, planning again, I'd already made a lovely free food stew, and it was full of potatoes and veg and beans, a really hearty stew. But I was so hungry because I hadn't had anything to eat since 7 o'clock in the morning that I decided to have, I think it was, oh yeah, I had a packet of Ben's garlic rice on the bottom, and then I had the stew, the hearty stew on top, and I ate the lot. I was so hungry because I think the Ben's rice is it 3.5 sins? I can't remember now. It's not very many sins anyway. So that's what happened on Saturday. But I did find the next day I was more hungry. I don't know why, because I probably ate, well, I was a bit down on the speed food for the day. But anyway, that's what I ate on the Saturday. I was a bit hungry on the Sunday, but I still stayed on plan. But I think really my streak is over now, because it was not a perfect Slimming World day, because I don't think I had healthy, I don't think, I only had one healthy extra B in the morning, and I didn't end up having any other healthy extras. And sins wise, I don't think I had very many sins. It just all went to pot. Anyway, on the Sunday I was back on track, and although I was a bit hungrier, I did stay on plan. And on Sunday actually we had these, which are a fantastic find. These are from, well, I got them in Tesco's. I've not seen them anywhere else yet because they're new out, and they are, I think, by the tofu.co, or the Tofu Co company. Mexican tofu burgers, Mexican bean tofu burgers. These are free on plan, and they're really hearty. They're kind of like a tofu and bean mixture that they've mashed together to make a really meaty substance. They're quite spicy, and they're very Mexican flavoured, so if you like spicy Mexican burgers, they're really filling, and I'm going to buy these. I wish they did them in other flavours, because Mexican's not my favourite, but if you want free burgers, and you can have both of them, I did, they are free on plan, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So I got those from Tesco's. I highly recommend them. So we had those on the Sunday, and I went to group on Tuesday, and this week I'd lost 2 pounds. So very pleased with that. I think last week as well I got my Club 10 award, I think. Because I did a video and then didn't end up posting it up, I'm not quite sure now whether that was the week before, but I think it was last week that I got Club 10, and that means so far I've lost now in the 7 weeks 1 stone 4. I started out at 11 stone 9.5, and now I'm 10 stone 5.5. So I'm really pleased with that, and it's all going well. So only £3 to get the 1.5 stone award. So maybe in 2 or 3 weeks I can be looking at getting that, which would be nice. I've just been invited as well through the post. I got an invitation to my auntie's 101st birthday party. That will be in June, in about 4 weeks, which I think we'll be going to, and that day will be a meal off plan, because it's it's one of those where you go and it's a set meal, so whatever's there. But I know they do soup for a starter, and it's the best soup in the world. Never had soup like it there. It's lovely. So that won't be too bad for a starter, and I'll just have to see what is there for the main course. I won't be having a dessert. So that's going to be, I think, my first off-plan meal, which is, I think it's the 22nd of June. Anyway, I hope everybody else has had a good week, or a good fortnight. I'd really like to know in the comments below how you're getting on. How did you do? Did you have a loss this week? What plans are you following? There's been some really good new channels recently to follow. I've been following 1 or 2 new vegan ones that are around, and also a few of the old YouTubers have been coming back. So there's a lot of people to follow at the minute, which I find really inspiring. I always watch videos in the morning when I'm having my breakfast. So I'd like to finish now. I'm off to the hairdressers in a minute, which is why my hair is falling into my eyes. So I'm off to the hairdressers now, and then we're going to go and have a look around the charity shop. So have a brilliant week. I look forward to catching up with you next week, and please let me know how you've been getting on. I really look forward to looking through and seeing how everyone's done. Take care for now, enjoy the sunshine. I'll see you next week and hope you'll be seeing less of me. Take care.